I've set up a number of businesses back in the UK, so I know how to do it. We've done it repeatedly, from opening premises to opening businesses to branding to marketing to the whole lot. I'm the perfect example where I thought, look, I'll just go and open one in Dubai. How hard can it be? The money looks incredible. But having seen the way it works now from behind the scenes, if that makes sense, and helping guys integrate into our business, it would have failed.
Michael Chandler, COO at The Network. Welcome to the Rebel Agent podcast.
Thank you for having me, David. It's good to be here.
I've really looked forward to this one because you've got these different roles, the main one being COO of The Network. Yeah. Maybe you can just give a little bit about your background and we'll take it from there.
Background is a bit of a random story. I'm from Belfast in Northern Ireland, and I've been operating my own business in there for the last 17 years. And very successfully, and is still ongoing, from real estate to mortgages to insurance to all sorts of different things. But through different methods, I decided to go for something new, and that was Dubai, and here we are.
Yeah, fantastic. When did you come over?
I landed officially for this role on the 1st of April.
Yeah. Great.
Not too long ago.
Let's just have a chat about the estate agency that you got back in Belfast. You've had that 17 years?
Yeah, 16, 17 years.
Yeah. And what's been the reason for success there? Just looking at it and sort of the website and stuff there, it looks very systemized.
Yeah, it's been an absolute roller coaster. We started in the recession when things were really, really bad back in the UK, which some thought, a lot of people were saying, you're absolutely mental, it'll never work. But actually, it was probably the best time to start a business because all the big players, their backs were against the wall. And they were focusing very heavily on property management and trying to get instant cash. Whereas I had to borrow a laptop, for example. That's how bad it was.
Really?
Yeah. And we had no office or anything like that. So
when you say we, this is you and your wife?
My wife and I, we started it together. She was in the bank at the time. So she's very good with the computers and emails and all that sort of stuff, where I was absolutely useless. So I was out doing the business and generating things, making stuff happen. And she took care of the office side of it, if you like. So it was a brilliant time to start. And we basically just worked literally 24/7 and got a lot of things happening, and we're just going out and telling people the truth, not masking what was happening in the world, if that makes sense. And we started winning business, and in a very short period of time, we were contacted by a large developer, and I was so out of my depth whenever he phoned me. I'm not going to lie. I'll never forget walking into the development and him asking me to price it, and I was like, haven't a clue, but somehow or other we winged it and we got through it, and they offered me that development, and that really kicked things into gear.
So this was a development to sell. So you handle it like we call it back in the UK, Ireland, new homes.
Yeah, new homes. Basically, it was a half-sold development site of new homes, townhouses and semi-detached. And the guys who were on it, they were doing nothing because they were too busy focusing on trying to keep the business open, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So we get stuck in and had some real early success, and we're doing crazy things like leaflet drops in the snow and I sold an apartment for a guy who offered me, if I sold his apartment, he would give me a free stand, a 1 meter by 1 meter stand in the self-build show, which is like a big event. And we got business off the back of that, and just doing everything possible to drum up business and trying to build a reputation for ourselves. So it was incredible.
Yeah, and presumably you got quite a few, maybe you got investors investing in those properties, and then you could rent them out, the property management side of things.
Yeah. I mean, what you've got to understand is no matter what's happening in the world, it doesn't matter whether it's COVID, whether it's recessions, whether it's progression, people will always need to move home. There's obviously there's the want, which I want to do it, that stops. But you've got people who have to do it for financial reasons, for kid reasons, for business reasons, for all different stuff. So you just have to adapt and pivot to what makes sense at the time. And that's what we did.
And that particular time when you were starting, a lot of people couldn't sell their houses, so they needed to rent it. So presumably your rental side of things in general worked well. And then there's others that need to rent. So yeah, it was a good time. I remember.
It's not. We focused. Believe it or not, we focused heavily on sales at that time.
Okay.
Which sounds crazy, but don't forget, just because a lot of people are struggling financially, not everybody is. So there's investors there looking to pick up deals.
That's true.
There's family. There's families that do have money. So they were then taking advantage of buying a property for half the price that it would have been 6 months ago. So it's just a case of finding those people and making sure you align the deal to suit them.
Yeah. And then is it the case, you obviously did very well with that business and still are, you still own that business. Is it the case that must have helped secure this position of COO at The Network?
I'm sure it did, yeah. I mean, look, I've been speaking to Mark Richards, who's the CEO of the business for over a year now. And
CEO and founder, isn't
CEO and founder,
Yeah.
absolutely incredible guy. He's been in Dubai for 20 years, in all the big real estate players, and is just he just blew me away with his knowledge and the way he does things and his systems and his analytical brain, etc., which is kind of different from the way I work. So we kind of complement each other very well. Yeah. And we talked, and we talked about all these different opportunities and different avenues, and even trying to get me in as an agent, etc. But I'm sort of past that now. So it became apparent the more we spoke that I had certain qualities that I could bring to help him while he structured the business and did certain things. I was able to pick up pieces that he wouldn't get time to do, etc. So it worked really, really well. And the experience that I have gained over those years, I'm able to initiate into the Dubai market.
Well, exactly, yeah. How did you guys meet?
Long story, and I'll probably not tell you the real one because I think I was in the bath at the time texting him. He was doing social media in the UK, and I had an idea that I wanted to start a brand here in Dubai. To cut a long story short, we had a couple of offices in Northern Ireland, and I wanted to expand further. And the choice was very quickly: do I want to take another sort of small country village office, or do I want to go bigger? And the choice was, after being on holidays here to visit my daughter, who was already working here in real estate, I thought, you know what? Let's not do a small country village. Let's go big time and go global, basically. So, I started speaking to him about training and about how it works. And he was just, from day one, from the first conversation, honest, straightforward, straight down the line, and helped me make a lot of decisions whenever it came to what was the right path to take and the right choice to go with.
Interesting, because you have got this huge contrast, haven't you? You know, like a 2-bedroom terrace house in Belfast, and then sort of a palm villa or
it's whatever. A bit of an eye-opener whenever you see the difference and the money that's involved and the type of people you're dealing with. It's an eye-opener.
Because one's more transactional, isn't it? You know, that 2-bedroom terrace place is always going to sell, whereas you become a bit more of an investment advisor, don't you, if you're selling property out here.
The biggest thing here
although you did some of that back home as well, I guess.
But the biggest thing here is it's a complete and utter role reversal from the UK. So back at home, basically, whenever you're trying to do business, the whole marketing structure, the whole purpose of your job is to win somebody's property to sell. So if you're putting your house in the market, I have to be the first person you think of to come and sell it for you. I have to come and give you a pitch. I have to give you the fee structure. I have to convince you that I'm the right person to sell your home. Then we make it live on the portals, and reality, the leads come in from there, and that's how the deal happens. Whereas here, it's the complete opposite. You know, anybody can get access to pretty much any property here, but you've got to find the buyer. So it is literally chalk and cheese and how it works. And I remember sitting in the first management meeting in with Mark and the sales managers, just going, "Oh my goodness, what have I bitten off here?" It was so different. It was incredible. But it's been fantastic, and I admire the way the Dubai market works as well. It's much more makes a lot more sense, if that makes works a lot better.
Yeah, and clearly you're a really good operations guy because you proved it back home, and it's happening here. I'm aware that the network operates a little bit differently from the traditional agency here in Dubai. Yeah. Can you talk about that?
Sure. Yeah, there's almost two elements to it. There is a traditional agency, so we do have a number of the network agents, and they're fantastic. One slight difference is we have very, very small teams, so a lot of sales managers on the floor. So, for example, some of the bigger players, if you like, might have 30 or 40 in a team with one sales manager to look after them, and they could be brokering themselves. We don't do that. We have very small, tight units that the sales manager knows the people inside out.
But that sales manager is also selling?
Some of them choose to, and some of them choose not to. It depends on the circumstance.
And they're getting an override on the commission from...
Yeah, absolutely. So that side of it. Then there's also the powered by section, which is, for me, a fantastic opportunity for people. So you've got brilliant brokers in Dubai who've clearly made a lot of money. They know what they're doing. They've got their black book, etc. over the years. And they decide then to go out and open their own real estate practice, which absolutely fair play and brilliant. But I don't think people realize just how hard it is to do that until they actually do it.
Yeah.
And it's not. It's the sheer time that it takes and the sheer intricacies of management, of employment, of recruiting, of the red tape, of the costs involved whenever it comes to the portals, etc. So we offer a powered by where people have their own brand, they own their own business, they have their own team, they make their own decisions, but they come in and work under our structure. And they save a huge amount of money because we offer them the office, we offer them the CRM system, we offer them the IT, we offer them finance, training for their team, structure for their team, to allow them to do what they have always done best, which is sell property and get your team selling properly. So that's really, really working well for people who have smaller teams and who want to really, send it to the moon and back. So
yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think you'll do well. You obviously are doing well with it, but that's only going to continue. And it's a bit like the American model, a bit where you've got teams within brokerages.
Yeah,
I think, and that is going to become more common in Dubai, because you say that people struggle with it and they don't realise. I heard a statistic recently that 50% of agencies or brokerages that set up will close within the first 12 months, because they'll suddenly realise, just how tough it is. Well, and also, I think we said before the podcast, and I've said it a few times on this podcast, that you might be a good salesperson and you think you're a good business person, but the reality is you're not, and you can't do the selling.
I've set up a number of businesses back in the UK, so I know how to do it. I've done it repeatedly, from opening premises to opening businesses to branding to marketing to the whole lot. So I'm the perfect example where I thought, I'll just go and open one in Dubai. How hard can it be? The money looks incredible. But having seen the way it works now from behind the scenes, if that makes sense, and helping guys integrate into our business, it would have failed. And I've huge amount of experience in that side of it.
That's interesting you say that.
Yeah,
you believe that it would have failed.
No doubt in my mind it would have failed, purely because I've seen the cost element, the time element, what the struggles are, the cutthroat element of it whenever it comes to recruitment, etc. I can see how hard that would have been now. Whereas you think, can't be that hard. And I'm quite sure brokers look at business owners and think, they must be making an absolute fortune. Look at the commission coming in. But the sheer level of money that goes out the door is remarkable. So it's not that easy.
And I would say one of the biggest factors now is the portals, Bayut and Property Finder, because like portals throughout the world, Zillow in the US, Rightmove in the UK, various other ones, they're getting more and more powerful.
Unbelievable.
And as they get more and more powerful, they're wanting more and more money. Yeah. Now, if you're a bigger brokerage, you will have a bit of buying power. It's a scale, isn't it?
Yeah.
So presumably the network, you've got one account with those portals, and then you can pass on the benefit to the teams that set it.
Well, that's one element, and the other element is they can control their own marketing spend and their own portal spend. But we have a huge amount of experience and can guide them of how to do it and how to structure it.
Yeah.
It's very, very complicated, and the portals are very, very good at making it complicated on purpose, I think. So the experience that Mark has, and we have, we know how to tell, look, don't do that, do it like this, don't spend that there, spend it here, and here's how to position it, etc. So I think overall, to be honest with you, strip out the money, strip out the office, strip out everything, just to have a seasoned, experienced head to talk to whenever you're going through that process is worth its weight in gold. Yeah. And the system that we offer would 100% save somebody money whenever it comes to setting up a business, and allows them to go and do what they do best, which is basically do deals and sell property and build a team.
100%. Can I just ask, if you've got a team within the network, just going back to the portals, I presume on the portals it says the network, it's branded as the network.
Yeah, so you've got the network itself, and then if for the example, we have one of the powered buys is a company called Family Homes.
All right.
So since they came in, they've taken advantage of a huge amount of the things that the network has to offer. And if you look at their logo, it'll say Family Homes, but then just in a small line below it, powered by the network. And those guys are just on a massive upward trajectory and doing really, really well and benefiting from it hugely. So it's a joy to watch, actually. It's great. Yeah. It's all very well doing these things, but they have to work. Because if each one that you bring in doesn't work, then the next one's not going to do it. Yeah. So it's thankfully at the moment it's really, really working well for them.
And you don't know what you don't know often, and that applies to you when you talked about coming over here, setting up your own. Yeah. Somebody like Mark Richards, he's been in it a long time, and he knows all the stuff, doesn't he?
Yeah, well, I mean, he ran me through everything. I was in my car on a Zoom with him, and he was running me through everything. Yeah. And there wasn't a sales pitch. If anything, he was actually trying to help me. If anything, he was trying to protect me and stop me doing it. Yeah. But one thing I can say is that to this day, every single thing that he has said would happen or promised or whatever, it has happened. There's been not one single lie so far, and that's. And another thing I've learned that in Dubai, that's uncommon. You need to be very careful what people tell you over here. Yeah. But genuinely, everything he has called and done and said has happened. So I have a massive amount of respect for that.
And talking about teams and powered by, I know it's something for the future, but you're already starting to work on it. Chandler International.
Yeah.
Which will basically be a link between Northern Ireland and Dubai in terms of buying property. And is that right?
Yeah, that's the future. Well, certainly it's the intended future. My wife is here with us. My daughter has been in real estate in Dubai longer than I have. So there's already a team there. I just know that, well, we're a respected brand in the UK.
Yeah.
People know us. We've been around for a long time. And with what's happening in the UK and Europe at the moment, Dubai is a very, very attractive place. So like I said, I could have went and opened another office in Northern Ireland, but like, it's just an upward battle, if that makes sense. So I think there's also a lot of money in Northern Ireland that you wouldn't think, and the south of Ireland and UK and Europe. And I think this is an amazing place to put it. So if we're a trusted brand at home, why not bring that trust over here and operate in the same manner, in the same way, and people will know they've got a trusted person to come to. And it's already proving that. I've had so many conversations with people, and I haven't even pushed it yet, It's
well, I like the marketing already. Just on Instagram, I think it looks very professional.
Thank you.
And getting is it your daughter that's involved with that?
Daughter and wife, yeah.
And on the picture, it looks very, because the three of you are very prominent.
Yeah. So like I will continue. I love doing what I'm doing with the network and love the whole operation and how it works. And those two are actively getting involved heavy duty in the Dubai market. So it'll dovetail very nicely.
But if you're trying to get other teams involved, the fact that you've got an involvement yourself, through your wife and your daughter, you're doing it, aren't you?
Do you want a better sales pitch?
Well,
so I believe in it wholeheartedly. So
and I think more and more, because I totally agree that it's getting more and more difficult in UK, Ireland, Europe for landlords, isn't it? Investing in property.
Yeah.
But you have got these agencies who've got all the contacts. Now, a lot of landlords are selling up, but they've got money, and where are they going to invest it? Well, you're there to advise them, aren't you? Because you've got the office or offices there. So I think this is going to become more and more common.
I think so. I mean, I'm not going to start berating the UK, but it's getting harder and harder as a business owner. And trying to run a family there, it's becoming harder and harder and harder to make any profit whatsoever. The costs are going up, the wages are going up, taxes are going up. It's so squeezed, it's unbelievable. And I think there's a lot of people who love the UK and benefit from the UK, including myself. But you have to do what's right at the time. And right now, I believe that Dubai and places like this are the safe and smart place to put your money. So why not get involved?
Have you seen the meme that's out there at the moment? The number one, the best Rachel.
Yeah.
The best Dubai real estate agent. There's a picture of Rachel.
And you know what? It's so true. It made me laugh. It's so true. It's ridiculous what's happening at the moment towards landlords, and they're screaming for more properties, but they make it more difficult for you to supply the properties. They want the economy to grow, but they make it harder to make money. None of it makes sense, in my opinion.
And it's both sides, isn't it? Because you got the landlords, but then you got the agencies such as yours.
Yeah.
And it's getting more and more difficult for the agency, apart from the fact that they're screwing, hitting landlords hard.
None of it makes sense.
So a lot of them are selling up, and they're selling out to the sort of bigger boys. And
that's right.
There's just going to be a few left in the end, isn't there?
I think it's going to be a big shift in the market, to be honest with you. I think you're going to see the big boys come in and sweep up and all the country estates. I think you're going to have even solicitors. I think that'll be the big massive change in the market there as well. The old-fashioned way of going to your local solicitor or your local agent down the road is, I think, in a number of years,
you're just going to go into ChatGPT.
Pretty much.
Because one of the interesting things with ChatGPT, I saw Zillow have now got an app on it in the US. And although it's still run through Zillow, eventually it's just going to be ChatGPT, I reckon.
Well, I don't know. ChatGPT is great for certain things, and tech is wonderful. There's no question about that. But as far as the agent's job, I think will always be there.
You got to do your pitch for agents.
No, I mean that. I mean, if some of the stuff that happens through a deal, you have to have somebody on your shoulder. And there's companies have tried it. I'll not name names, but there's big companies came into the UK and tried to go down the cheap fee and online and stuff like that, and it just simply doesn't work. There's too many cogs. There's too many things can go wrong. There's too much stress. There's too much money involved. So yes, ChatGPT and all these systems, they will simplify it and they will speed it up, and rightly so. I think it's fantastic.
They'll help the good agents.
They'll help 100%.
Yeah.
And there's also an element that bad agents will very quickly go out of the market.
Yeah.
But ultimately, if you're a good agent, you're invaluable. I really do believe that.
Yeah. Well, with Chandler International, I wish you all the success with that. I think it will go really well.
Thank you.
It makes sense that it will. Let's just talk about Dubai itself, apart from the sort of financial side of things. What your family have moved out here. What's that experience been like?
It's been incredible, really. My biggest fear, I have a 14-year-old and a 16-year-old, two boys, along with my daughter and stuff like that. But my biggest fear was, so I arrived almost in the summer months, and there was no kids. Everybody was away, and I was like, oh my goodness, what are these boys going to do? Are they going to like it? Because they have a wonderful school at home and great circle of friends and rugby and jiu-jitsu and all that sort of stuff. And I was really worried, would they be bored? Would they miss home, et cetera, et cetera? I knew Laura and I would be absolutely fine. There was never any issue with that, because we like our fitness, walked, there's always something to do. But the boys in particular, I was very worried about and pushed back so hard before they came to make sure they were ready for that and up for it. But they were ready for the challenge. And I have to be honest with you, they've just, they're living the dream. They're having a better life than I am. They're out. I can't afford them. They're out every single weekend. They've made so many friends from different nationalities. They're just doing different things. It's mind blowing. It really is, and they are loving life, absolutely loving life. They're loving the before they came here, would they have said they'd be going out for a beach day with Italians and Arabs and this and that? And they're such a good circle of friends, and they're just thoroughly enjoying every day. So it's brilliant.
That's great. So you'd recommend to people back home, whether they're getting involved with real estate or other fields, you would recommend Dubai?
Yes. Yeah, 100%. I can't. Yeah. There's downsides and there's bad sides to everything. But overall, as far as a lifestyle, I think Dubai wins.
And if you're an agent back home, what sort of recommendation would you give them if they're thinking about coming here? What are the do's and don'ts? What should they be thinking about?
They need to strap themselves in mentally for a roller coaster of a first probably year, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
They will need a fair bit of cash behind them.
Can you give a figure that you would have in mind?
I would say a minimum of 10 to 15,000 in sterling, I think, would be an absolute sort of rock bottom minimum for them to live on. Don't get me wrong, people come in and do a deal in their first 2 weeks, but that's a bit of luck involved there.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can take 8 months for them to get off the ground, and then all of a sudden they just go. They need to be of a certain personality. I often say this to the team whenever I'm chatting to them in morning meetings and stuff, that I see them all as mini entrepreneurs. That they're not being paid. They do have to buckle up. They do have to have a structure. They do have to put the effort in. They do have to work weekends. They do have to work evenings. And if they don't do that, they suffer. It's as simple as that. Yeah. So you very quickly find out the ones that are fit for it and not. So if you're slightly entrepreneurial, if you're up for putting the hard work in, if you've got a bit of savings, for me, it's an absolute no-brainer. It really is.
Yeah. When you say they're not paid a
basic.
Basic. Yeah.
It's commission only.
All commission. Yeah. And a quite high commission, isn't it, at the network? So,
yeah, they can do very, very well. Very, very well. So, like I say, it's almost split. The good guys do very, very well, and the average people do. They can struggle. So.
Yeah, well, there's 30,000 official agents here, and that's growing exponentially, isn't it? Probably faster than Dubai's growing.
It is,
because it's natural because there's a lot of money here. And so it is going to attract the best.
Yeah.
And so if it attracts the best, the average guys are going to struggle.
They will, yeah. There's no doubt about that. They need structure, they need discipline, they need experience, they need somebody to talk to. And that's why I was referred to earlier on, that's why the small team with a sales manager works really, really well.
Yeah.
Because they've got somebody to bounce every single message off, every single call. What do you think I should do here? How do you think I should answer that? Because as you and I both know, it doesn't matter whether you're selling cars, property, it's irrelevant. If you make one wrong word in a sentence, or if you say one wrong thing, or the tone doesn't come across right, you can ruin a deal.
Yeah.
And I've seen it with the bigger agencies, that people are just guessing and they're answering messages the way they think they should do, or it comes across cheeky. They're not taking into account the nationality that they're speaking to. They're not taking into account, how the other side is feeling, and deals are being lost. Money's being left on the table. And whenever you're working commission only, every penny counts. I see it, so we want our guys to do well. We want them to be a success, because ultimately everybody's a success then at the end of the day.
Yeah, having a smaller structure like that within teams makes complete sense.
Yeah.
Future, more of the same, just growing your position at network, growing Chandler International.
Yeah, listen, it's a really exciting time.
Yeah.
It genuinely is. The network is... It's a year old now, basically. We're up to 60 agents and growing. We're not taking anybody new, if that makes sense. We're taking people with experience and upskilling them. So the room's just filling with really good, solid people, just mature people who are having fun and making money. And then the powered by element, we see that only starting to grow. We're currently onboarding another one as we speak. And And the challenge is always at the start because you have to get them thinking differently, acting differently, tune them into our way of working. So that takes a bit of work, if you can
And
imagine.
that's your responsibility.
It's my responsibility, yeah. But that's the exciting bit. So to be honest with you, to where it is at the moment, after a year, it blows my mind where it could be after 2 or 3 years. We're currently opening our second office as we speak as well,
Right.
which certainly isn't easy to do in Dubai, believe me, with all the certificates and everything you've got to get. Nothing is straightforward here. But yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes. And then obviously Chandler International in the future is going to be a very exciting thing as well, and see how we can help the people in the UK and Ireland and further afield as well, and just take advantage of that.
What's the best way for people to reach out to you? I can put your details in the show notes.
Instagram, WhatsApp, any way you wish. I'll help anybody. If anybody is thinking about coming here or wants to know about coming here, I'm more than open to a conversation. Some people were very, very good to me in this process. Michael McGee from EXP being one of them, spent a lot of time with me. He was absolutely fantastic, and yourself. And I think to have that is invaluable. So I'm happy to help anybody who's even considering coming here, and will answer any question truthfully, like Mark Richards did with me. Because there's no point in telling people something just to, for your own benefit, and then they get here and realize you've lied to them. I just think that's crazy. So we can tell them the nuts and the bolts and all the good bits and the bad bits,
Yeah. I love that. I've really enjoyed chatting to you today, Michael. Thanks very much for coming on the podcast.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It was great. Appreciate it.